everyone, and welcome to Friars Desk Live, where we talk about spiritual insights, inspirational stories, and innovative ideas. From social media to streaming platforms, from memes to ministry, how does the church evangelize in this age of screens, scrolls, and notifications? And how do we remain authentic disciples of Christ while engaging a world that is always online? Says Pope Francis in his exhortation Christus Vivit, the digital environment is not a parallel or purely virtual world, but is part of the daily experience of many people, especially the young. Joining us in this episode on this digital evangelization are three voices from different corners of the church: a priest, a religious sister, and a seminarian. I have in my right Reverend Father Joel Camaya of the Salesians of Don Bosco. Hi, Father.
Hello, good afternoon, Father Dex and our audience.
Hello. And at his right would be Sister Marisa Alila Upi of the Missionary Sisters of St. Dominic.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Yeah. And of course, we have also, last but not the least, Seminarian Enrico Macrohon of the UST Central Seminary.
Hello, what's up guys? Hello, Father Dex and everyone watching. Hi.
Very familiar yung kanyang boses, hindi ba? So, we maybe before we begin the topic of digital evangelization, maybe we could first briefly introduce yourself and maybe your current involvement in this digital evangelization, or maybe you could also tell us about your beginnings or the beginnings of your media evangelization. Father, maybe you could first give your message for people.
Yes, thank you. So I'm Father Joel Camaya, Salesian of Don Bosco, and we're involved with the young people. That's our mission. I began my journey with digital evangelization when I got involved in social media. Before Facebook, there was Friendster, there was Multiply. But then I really came to be involved in at the time of Facebook, and from that time, the little ways that I can evangelize, I was already doing. And then now, I'm involved also in mainstream media, namely in Radio Veritas, DZRV, and I have a program there every Thursday, 3 to 4 p.m. It's Bible study on the air, so it's bringing the word on the air, but that is also present in live streaming in Facebook and the other platforms. And then I also lately I began with this Greek. That's Greek to me. That is a very short a short program that is present on Facebook, in Twitter also, and in TikTok.
Okay.
So that's my involvement so far.
Father, how did you start or how did you begin your journey in this digital evangelization?
Yeah, as I said, I have a platform that's in Facebook. I was also blogging before, and so I put out my reflections, and from there it developed. I began also putting it to Twitter, and then especially when there are these insights from the church, then I wod retweet them. In that way, I began.
Father, is it just a passion for you to start, or is there somebody who told you that you could start media evangelization through social media?
Actually, it's more of a personal endeavor. Although, of course, there are a lot of invitations that we were encouraged, and that we would be able to reach more people through this. Okay. So it's just like maybe something that came from a hunch. Yeah.
Okay, Sister Marisa, how did you begin your journey in this digital evangelization and your current ministry?
Actually, I can say that I am still a neophyte in this kind of ministry. It was just a casual conversation with our parish president, Father Paul Talavera, and he mentioned something about this program, Usapang K. And so I said immediately, I want to be in that kind of ministry. And then all of a sudden, I got a text from him and said, Sister, on Monday, we will have already the show, no, the Usapang K. So from that time on, I became a regular co-host of Usapang K.
Was it a passion for you, or was it just a hobby? Or before you wanted to really join this kind of program in radio or any other platform?
I have never thought of that, Father, because my most of my work was in formation. So I've been handling from postulants, aspirants, postulants, novices, and even in the juniorate. So most of my time in the religious life is basically information work. But I have that passion for giving retreats. And so I think it was like an inspiration for me to try in this kind of ministry.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sister. Of course, Brother Rix.
Father, so I have a Facebook page po na kung saan doon nag-upload ako ng mga vlogs about catechism at nag-garner na rin siya ng almost 1.5 million followers. And I also have YouTube channel, less than 50,000 pa lang. I have Instagram and TikTok also. Pero mas engaged po ako sa Facebook, Father. So nagsimula yun itong Rix the Seminarian nung makapasok ako ng UST po before pandemic. So parang naisip ko na nag-grow na kasi yung social media engagement noon. But before entering UST, nag-establish na rin po ako ng YouTube channel, Pinoy Catholic Vlog. Nag-upload po ako doon ng mga videos about apologetics naman, Father. Defending the Catholic faith, kung bakit tayo may rebulto, ganun. And unang upload pa lang, Father, naka-ano ako ng mga 100,000 views in just 3 days. So talaga siyang engaging po, no? Kasi parang bago pa lang noon, 2018 pa lang po, no? Before pandemic. So nagsimula yung thought ko na ganyan kasi, Father, nung bata ako, wala akong nakikita sa TV na Catholic priest na nagtuturo ng catechism. Or ang nakikita ko, mga protestante, mga sekta, Channel 25 or Channel 31, UNTV, Net 25. Naghahanap ako ng Catholic-inspired, parang Friar's Desk, ganyan. Pero wala pa nun yun. Wala pa sa TV ng ganun. So sabi ko one day, dahil nga po, meron kaming video nung bata kami, pinaglalaroan ko. So I think I have that artistic or creativity na pwede kong i-apply, hindi lang sa paggawa ng mga secular vlogs, kundi why not gamitin ko tong talent ko na to promote the Catholic faith.
And you have really engaged with the young people, no?
Yes, Father.
Especially if you see the need of the Catholics, maybe they have the thirst to engage also with the church, or to engage with the common people, di ba? Father, ganun ba yun? When we are looking at the social media platform, we are engaging with a lot of people, no? Pero who are our audiences ba? Are you engaged with the young people or ordinary people, the masses? Sino ba yung ini-engage dapat natin with?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's a fact that everyone, no, lahat ng makikita mo merong cellphone, merong smartphone. And pag titingnan mo maybe you ask them, no, ano yung unang ginagawa mo in the morning paggising mo? Dati magdarasal ka, no? Pero expectedly, ano yung unang gagawin nila? Titignan nila yung kung may message, etc., no? And ngayon, especially, what do they look for? Siguro sa mainstream media, hindi na ganun ka, kasi medyo mahaba, your attention span should be long. Pero ngayon, ano yung uso? Yung mga maikling mga videos. And so, yun yung hinahanap ng mga tao. So, sino yung mga yan? Maybe people who do not have much time, or maybe who want to hop from one thing to another. At I think practically it's everybody who has who has that gadget before him. And a lot of these are young people. Kasi besides studies, no, pag free na sila, dun kagad ang default nila. Unlike maybe people who work, no, the adults who work, maybe they would not have that amount of time that at their disposal. Pero mostly those who are idle, it's their default. Kung wala silang ginagawa yon. And many of these are young people. Yeah.
So, pero kasi Father, when you are looking at the people, no, most of the vlogs po are parang very secular in nature. And sa pag sinabi kasing TikTok before, sumasayaw, kumakanta, pero and even sa Facebook then, it's just engagement of people talking to each other, friends, no, connecting people, connecting with each other, conversation. Pero ngayon, the church is being involved in this kind of paradigm, no, in this kind of space. Bakit kaya? Why does the church need to engage the people through these platforms?
Yeah. Ang gandang tanong nun kasi isa yung kaya nga social media, it's a means of socialization. Yun yung primary, so communicating with each other. At yun yung parang isang gold mine that's in front of the church. If we can use this in order to communicate a lot of things, not the faith, the Word of God, then it will really be effective. Kasi ito yung hawak ng mga tao. No? So, halimbawa, no, it's something neutral, itong social media. But if you could always use it for evangelization. So, hindi lang siya presence na socializing, pero it's an evangelizing presence. In a way, parang dati, okay, let's go back 50 years ago, it's the radio, it's the television, even go back to the time of St. Paul. He has a message. And what was that means? It could not always be something personal. So anong ginawa niya? He wrote. And then he traveled. Yun yung ginagawa natin ngayon. We have the same message, pero ito yung means natin ngayon. Mas mabilis, mas maraming tao yung naaabot. So I think for the church, you could see this as a very good opportunity for evangelization.
For Paul, before he needs to go into the known world, no, he needs to venture out and sail sa malaking lupain. But in this day and age, we don't need to go really physically to the world, no. But you could engage your audience through online platforms, di ba, Father? Sister, how about people? Kasi it's quite usual for the religious, no, or even the priests, the seminarians, so to engage the people in the Catholic faith. But those Catholics kaya na lay or the students, no, when they are engaging the people na sinasabi nila yung faith nila, nagba-Bible verse sila, or yung faith nila, they are being blocked by people na they are not of the same faith, no. Ano kaya yung mga challenges natin when you are sharing your faith online? Kasi sa atin naintindihan natin you are sharing. Kasi for us, it's usual to share our own faith. But for people kaya, the ordinary people?
Actually, one of the challenges that we can say on digital evangelization is the criticism and misunderstanding. And of course, since you are there, no, in that digital world, sometimes you cannot avoid, especially yung mga vloggers, mga digital evangelists, to experience hate, no? Yung culture of hate and cancel culture, something like that. So talaga it's really very challenging. And how to combat that? I think one is being positive, no? Being calm in that kind of situation. Na hindi basta-basta magre-react, no? Kasi instead of, sabi nga, if they are sowing hatred, you respect them. You sow kindness. You sow compassion. You sow forgiveness.
Yeah, when you are engaging with people, siguro of course, there are a lot of hate messages or negativity running around the social media platforms, and this is a good venue for us to spread naman good news, 'di ba, sister? It's more positive than the negativity, 'di ba? Brother Rix, speaking of engaging with people, no? But there are also people who are bashers, sabihin natin, 'di ba? Of course, you are saying earlier na kailangan nating yung sabi kasi ni sister, engaging with people, no? And pero those engaging with people and you want to defend the Catholic faith, 'di ba, may sa apologetics kasi sometimes you get into, sabi natin, to a fight with those who are not non-Catholics, 'di ba? How do you engage the people who are not of the same faith, but of course you are still spreading good news?
So Father, alam natin ang nature sa social media very divisive, lalo na ngayon. Minsan hostile pa kasi may mga ad hominem attacks. Minsan hindi na yung argument talaga, kundi yung personal, ina-attack ka na personally. So merong tendency or meron tayong tendency, no, na makipag-away sa social media, na maging hostile din, na yung arguments natin parang yun nga, very
Pero do
hostile.
you need to engage with them na kapag may binato sa iyo, babatuhin mo rin dito, tapos parang it's not a good space for para to spread the good news,
Yes,
kasi
Father.
when you're engaging with the battle na you're not of the same faith, you're not of the same idea or principles.
So may mga technique dyan, Father. How can we engage with those of different faith para ma-proclaim natin yung natin? For me, nakita ko hindi effective yung ipopost mo lang yung arguments eh. It should be a narrative. Kailangan mahabang, you have to make an effort not just to throw arguments, but to write narratives. Yung ipapaintindi mo sa kanila in a very detailed way na hindi yung all caps pa yung iba, all caps tapos mga short lang. Parang stones na ito-throw mo. Pero that's not how we dialogue. We have to write in a narrative form na parang mahaba to. Hindi ka lang kukuha ng bato, itatapon mo. You have to compose a very calm counter-narrative to explain the faith.
But sometimes, Father, yung counter-narrative natin, it's not anymore productive eh. Pero yung nga, mga bashers or even fake news, yung mga misinformations, no? How do you know that, when you are engaging with people, you're still on the line, no? Or sabihin natin, meron ka sinabi na ganyan, do you need to block them, or do you need just to engage with them, or just be silent about it?
Yeah, when we encounter these, sometimes it's your gut feeling, no? Ito bang taong ito, sincere siya dun sa kanyang questions? Or maski anong argument ang gagawin mo, baka hindi ka man lang niya pakinggan. So in those cases, at least you're able to discern. Be courageous, no? There's a time for everything, sabi nga dun sa Kohelet. And be courageous, no? There's a time even to block. There's a time to mute. There's a time to disengage. I mean, kung minsan it's not worth the effort. Na halimbawa, just to tell you, no, sometimes you will really need to give a lot of yourself when you engage in social media, in digital evangelization. There's a time to move away from it. In fact, it's also good that, especially I would advise to young people, to put boundaries even in the way that you use social media.
Yeah.
Na yung world, it's not only there in the digital world, pero no, yung engage into relationships that are real, hindi lang yung sa virtual. Na hindi lang yan yung mundo mo. Meron mundo na nandito, yung nabubuhay tayo, nagkakausap tayo, magkaharap. Yun.
Okay, thank you, Father. Brother Rix, I think you also have thesis, di ba, with regard to this misinformation, fake news. Can you tell us more about this?
Ayun nga, Father.
Kahit may sila, hindi natin kailangan i-defend.
Baka maging thesis defend na to. No? Ayun, so, yun nga, kahit si Pope Francis po, nung isa sa mga speeches niya, sa mga journalists, sinasabi niya, one of the sin of journalism is disinformation. Kasi parang ang tinitingnan na lang nila is profit, lalo na sa mga vloggers or sa mga ngayon, content creators na all they think is how to monetize, even to the point of just posting or creating fake news. So challenge po talaga yan. So ang sagot dyan based on my readings, Father, no, nakita ko isa ay social media literacy. We need to be literate in engaging. We need to know how to verify information. We need to know how to report. Kasi minsan, sabi nga sa isang reading ko, dadating yung panahon of information apocalypse. Parang we cannot really distinguish na. Even AI cannot distinguish what is true and what is fake. Apocalypse na siya, Father. And even kahit na na-distinguish mo na, sa part ng mga tao, wala na silang ganang mag-report ng fake. So, dadating daw yung panahon na talagang hindi na natin alam. So, ngayon pa lang, parang we have to learn. We have to be literate in engaging. We have to know how to verify. We have to know how to report. Yun, Father.
Kasi well, AI is already here, no? Hindi lang pagbabago ng mukha or gagawing cartoon yung mukha mo, no? Pero the way AI is engaging with information, they can even distort, no, the truth, the veracity of a certain history. Binabago na yung alam natin, no? But sister, kung ganito yung nangyayari ngayon, kasi sabi ni Father, ang ganda sinabi ni Father kanina, no, Father Joel, how do we disengage with this kind of, kasi sometimes social media, digital evangelizers, sabihin natin, can sometimes be addicting. Minsan yung social engagements natin sa digital environment can be so addicting that we don't know how to stop, no? Kahit na yung pagsi-cellphone, no? Sabi nga ni Father kanina, pagmulat mo pala ng mata mo, cellphone agad. Pag matutulog ka na lang, cellphone agad, no? So how do we disengage? Sabi nga nila, meron pa tinatawag na detox, digital detox, no? But how do we engage, sister?
Siguro one thing, Father, is that yung stay focused in your goal. What is your goal in engaging in social media? Kung very clear sa'yo yung purpose mo, like for example, your purpose is really to share God's love, then malilimitahan ka kasi alam mo yung focus mo. So isa yon, no? And then I think discipline also. You need to discipline yourself. When, where, and how are you going to use those digital technologies that we have? In that way, ma-overcome natin yung addiction na sinasabi, yung digital addiction. Like for example, instead of engaging only in one kind of hobbies, yung using the gadgets, maybe you can also try other hobbies like gardening, music, art, something like that.
Oo. Father, sometimes digital environment could also be less authentic, they said, no? Kasi you are not really physically present at the moment. For example, you are engaging with, of course, meron tayo sa digital, pero hindi mo pa, kahit, di ba, teacher din kayo si Father, no? When you are teaching your students sa online, sometimes, medyo mahirap, medyo talaga mahirap, no? Because you're just looking at the screen and you're not even looking at your students, no? You do not even know if they are engaging with you with regard to the lesson that you're imparting. Na paano natin makikita yung digital environment na less authentic and authentic at the same time?
Yeah. Isang pwede natin tandaan, authenticity does not have to be sacrificed even in the digital world. It's like any other means of communication. Maybe in the past they thought of the telephone, parang hindi authentic yun kasi you don't see the face. But then it's, as I said in the beginning, this is something neutral. And it's it depends on the person. Yung authenticity ng person mismo. The means is neutral, but the one who it becomes authentic or not, depending on the person. Halimbawa kung ikaw, yun yung mindset mo, that you say things, you post things, pero hindi ka totoo, talaga hindi maging inauthentic. Pero the means is there, but you go there, no, with humility, with charity, with the truth, then I think it does not downplay the means like social media, pero even it uplifts it. Nagiging maayos pa yung digital platform because of that. Kumbaga, ito yung ginagawa ng ibang bagay doon sa platform na yun, parang nadidegrade because of what they post. Pero you uplift the platform because of what you say, the truth, said in charity, and then with your authenticity.
Okay. Sister, kasi may sinasabi sila, of course, we have the social media platform. No? You can say whatever you want. But what is enshrined is the freedom of the person. No? Parang kung ano yung gusto niyang sabihin. Can we say whatever we want to say in the social media? Or do we need to check first? Or paano ba yun? Pwede ba ako magsalita as a freedom of expression? What I want to say in the digital platform, or kailangan?
Siyempre, Father, you have to consider yung mga moral principles, like, does it uplift the dignity of man? That when I say something, when I post something, is it put down the person? So yun yung mga i-consider mo, no, yung moral principle na that we have to be very careful in our words, no, kasi it's either we make the person or break the person, sabi nga, di ba? So that's why we really have to be very careful.
Pero
in that.
sister, sabi nila, I'm just being honest, I'm just being truthful. I want to say something that, you know, it's in my heart, it's in my mind. I just want to say it in the social media because nobody listens to me. Dito lang ako nakakapag-engage, o may shares pa nga 1,000 o 2,000 shares, no? Pero how do we deal with those? Kasi sinasabi nila, that this is my personal page. This is my personal space. So you do not engage with me kasi ito yung space ko.
Going back, Father, babalik ulit doon sa moral principle na sabi nga, 'di ba, yung you do ano ba yung golden rule, no? Yung if you want you to be respected, you should also know how to respect others. I think kailangan siguro ibalik natin tong yung mga parang sabihin na natin good morals and right conduct in engaging to the use of social media. Kasi kuminsan nakakalimot na, nalilimutan na. So maganda na ibalik ulit to educate our young people, no, especially our young people, no, na ibalik yung what is true, what is good, and what is beautiful.
Brother Rix, is there such thing as social media etiquette, or may ganun bang may online platform etiquette so that people should be able to have this kind of unwritten rule on how to engage with people?
Yes, Father. Actually, lahat naman po yata ng mga platforms, meron silang standard. Meron silang mga etiquette na kapag ka nilabag mo, pwede kang ma-restrict.
Sa Facebook yan, na?
Facebook, Instagram, pwede ka ring ma-delete na. Pwede yung account mo ay mawala na lang. Because hindi ka sumunod sa community standards. Depende po sa platform. Pero yung social media etiquette as a Christian, sinasabi ng mga document ng simbahan, na we must know how to discern. Yan po, on what to post. Yung cliche na kasabihan na think before you click. So yun po yung buod na we should need to know how to discern. Kahit na napakabuti na ng sasabihin mo, no, kahit na doctrine pa yan ng simbahan, it's my experience, no, na ano ba to, totoo bang totoo bang doktrina ito ng simbahan, pero we have to discern. Kailangan pa bang sabihin, or paano mo ma-strategize kung paano mo i-deliver nang hindi nakaka-offend. Halimbawa, Father, dyan yung mga term na pwede mo namang sabihin daw na autistic. Pero mayroon term na tama, yung people with autism. Parang ganon. So, kailangan mo lang yung play of words mo, kailangan maingat ka.
Special needs siguro.
Ayun, people with special needs, ganyan. Or yung
there are
committed
words
suicide daw, trigger warning, pero died by Suicide. Parang
So there are words that you need to look for or to be cautious of.
Opo.
So that you could
Etiquette
not...
din po yun, Father, na we have to be careful of the words we use. Kahit na totoo pa yan, pero kailangan humanap ka ng mga salita na, kasi we have to respect the sensitivities of a lot of audience na nakikinig sa atin.
Yeah, pero Father, when you are talking, kasabi nga nila, bad news sells, di ba? Sabi, yun yung parang negativity sells. So that you could have, more engagements. Siraan ko na lang yung kasama ko, or siraan ko na lang yung, like for example, if there is this, actually nga, parang, parang they are just copying it, tapos magre-react na lang na ganon. How do we engage with those na parang for us to have more engagement, we need to to spread negativity para mas malaki, o pag mas malaki engagements ko, mas malaki yung, actually di ba may kita din to, paid advertisement, mga boosters pa nga sa Facebook, and if you're constantly engaging with people, depende yata, Father, sa number of viewers, views, saka subscribers, Brother Rix, ganun din yun, Paano ba yung ganun, Father, na yung thinking na, ay, pag marami akong makukuha dito if I'm going to engage in a negative message to people?
I think we see that very much in our times, In fact, you're all aware of that, ano ba yun, yung vlogger ba yan na, na foreigner na...
Yeah.
And yun yung principle.
Yeah.
Ito yung it works in yung psychology ni Maslow, You can never be satisfied, Yung halimbawa, pag meron ka, yan na ako, 100,000 likes. O gusto mo pang iangat pa ron. So yung aim mo, it's the viewers or the likes, yung followers, rather than what you're presenting, the message that you're presenting. At ganun nga, even sometimes yung mga clickbait, yung they click because maski na yung content ay hate, hate or something negative. How do we respond to that? Of course, sa mga ibang bagay we cannot do anything about it, But maybe in our capacity as educators, maybe not just think before posting, but also yung sinabi kanina, na before clicking, you think. Kasi itong mga nagpo-post na ito, they would want clicks. Kaya pag kinlik mo, talo ka, maski ayaw mo yung message nila. But how do we work with that? Kung educators tayo, tell the young people, tell your children about it. Wag kang basta-basta magkiklik. And then the other thing is, okay, wala kang magagawa tungkol doon, pero we can do something in our own platform. Pursue truth. Mas nagsasabi ng hindi nagsasabi ng totoo yung iba, ikaw magsabi ka ng totoo. Kung yung pinopost na iba tungkol ay yung something about yung evil, hindi maganda yung pinopost nila, ikaw you go for what is good, what is beautiful. Kumbaga you counteract it by posting something that's even counterculture.
Yeah. So it's not just about making money out of it, but if you're going to spread a message that should be positive and be helping people, Hindi lang naman lahat 'yan parang all about money, all about popularity, because these are the sins that we are committing every day in the social media platform. I think we have a short amount of time, and I think we will ask our guests now for their message to our audience, Maybe we could start with Sister Marisa. Maybe you could talk about siguro talk to our audience about the future of evangelization, or how they are going to start also their own evangelization.
I will just give my message, Father. So sa akin is, remember, every click, post, comments, and connection is an opportunity to share God's love and inspire change that will make this world a better place to stay.
Yeah, and Brother Rix?
Ayun. Hello guys. Gusto ko lang sabihin na according to the document of the church, and yung towards full presence. And the digital synod, ang sabi doon, every Christian is a micro-influencer. So you have the potential to influence sa mismong account mo lang sa Facebook, sa Twitter, or sa Instagram. Yung mga pinopost mo sa stories mo, sa My Day mo, or sa simpleng caption. You have the power to influence people para magmahalin nila yung simbahan, mahalin nila yung pananampalataya. And how do you evangelize in a simple way? Always include God in your daily stories. Baka yung mga stories na pinopost mo, puro na lang selfie mo, sarili mo, or tungkol sa mga nawawala na si God or yung simbahan sa mga stories mo. So, if you want to be an digital online evangelizer, always include God in your daily stories.
Wow. And Father Joel.
Yeah, I'd like to present to you a word, no, yung core, C-O-R. That's the Latin for heart. Di ba lagi tayong gumagano ng yung heart? And what about that, no? C, content, no? Ano yung pwede nating ibigay? Ano yung, I think, yung ating, our faith has a lot of content. Imbes na kung ano-ano yung, ang crisis ng maraming tao ngayon ay sa social media. Ano pa yung pwede kong ibigay? Ano pa yung content ko? At naubusan sila. Tayo hindi maubusan. There's the Bible, the Word of God. There's the faith of the contents of our faith, no? Yung catechism. And this can be given through digital evangelization. Second, yung O, orthodoxy or orthopractice. Ano yung dapat nating gawin? Ano yung tama? No? Ano yung katotohanan? And then lastly, our responsibility. We are responsible. This is a power that is given to you. And dahil everybody has this power, then we have to take care of this power, this responsibility. And just especially for young people, you were born in this time. And dahil you were born in the time of digital evangelization, that's your mission. Huwag niyong pakawalan ito, no? It's a gift that's given by the Lord.
Digital evangelization isn't just about having an online presence. It's about being truly present in the places where people search for connection, identity, and even of hope. It's not enough to just post about Christ. We're called to be Christ in the digital spaces we enter. That means bringing clarity where there is confusion, light where there is noise, and communion where there is isolation. In his 2013 apostolic exhortation, Evangelii Gaudium, Pope Francis has this to say: the Church must be present in the digital world, not just to make herself heard, but to bear witness to Christ with authenticity. Thank you to our guests who have given their time and presence, Brother Rix, Sister Marisa, and Father Joel. And thank you everyone for watching us. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Laudare, benedicere, predicare. Let us all praise, bless, and preach the word of God. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless us all. And this is Friar's Desk.